Really, I see our role as changing the way leaders think. Leaders typically are so engrossed in the demands of running a business in the now. And we have the analysts on the stock markets that are driving leadership behavior into stable, predictable quarterly results. And so I guess understandably, leaders spend very little time peering over the ramparts to see what's coming at them. And all of their time and effort, or the vast majority of it, is spent understanding the now, understanding yesterday, last week, last month, last year, understanding current competitors, and it's all about business of today. And really, as a futurist, I see my role as engaging leaders in debates which they typically wouldn't have, around what are the forces that are shaping the world in which business will operate tomorrow, and what are the implications of these forces then on the business of tomorrow. So it's all very well having a business of today, which we know and we understand and we research and we analyze and build systems for. But the question is, coming at us is a completely different context in which we will do business. And I need to help business leaders around the world understand that context. I think there are a few forces. I mean, we talk about and we all sort of blithely accept connectivity. And in the last 10 or 15 years, the big story has been connectivity. And I don't think, and I made the point earlier, that after more than 20 years now of the internet, we're approaching finally the start line of the change that we will see, that connectivity will enable us to do or have or enjoy. So I don't think that so first of all, it's connectivity. Secondly, it's the shift of corporate power away from institutions, governments, corporations, churches, the World Bank, all of the post-Second World War institutions to organize the world. Power shifted really into the hands of the individual. And that's, individual on Oxford Street and Regent Street, and rural farmers in outer Kenya. And they had the same power. They have the same smart device in their hand. They have the same access to everything in the world, all the information. It's all flat and it's all open and transparent. And so we now have a world of 7 billion, really for the first time ever, empowered individuals through connectivity. And then I think the sort of rate of technological change is so rapid and so profound that the force which that creates is the need not only to be fast but to be agile. It creates the imperative to actually be willing to unlearn, because we take a lifetime to learn certain rules and experiences and then to replicate those. But the context within which we're doing that has changed fundamentally. So the lessons of yesterday are just less and less relevant. Well, I think the consumers are horrible because I think they're brutal and there's no loyalty. And their loyalty will depend on the very last experience they had with you. And boy, if it's not good, it's going to be the last one. And that's kind of scary for a business. So how do you build loyalty? I mean, I'm just listening to a talk now on Net Promoter Score. What is the likelihood that they'll refer you? And, you can deliver 5 things greatly and then one really bad experience and it's game over. So I think customers are a lot less loyal. They, of course, have access to all the information, so you can compare, quality, price, availability, and it's a global game. So if you look at, I was down Tottenham Court Road yesterday, where I bought my first serious digital camera many years ago from one of the electronics dealers down there, and they're all closing up because they can't compete with Amazon. Amazon started selling books, and none of them saw Amazon as a competitor, and suddenly they've won the hearts and minds of customers because they're just delivering in a certain way, which talks to the customer of today and, more importantly, the customer of tomorrow. So customers give you trust. They'll give you trust up front, and it's up to you to keep it or breach it. Then, of course, the way we structure and run our companies, more often than not, we breach the trust in some way, and then it's brutal. It's unfriend, and you're dead. And that's scary. Well, I think they're becoming faster, wiser, more demanding. Time is absolutely becoming more and more critical for each one of us. So, time is incredibly precious. So any process, any intervention, any way of engaging which slows me down as I lurch headlong into this crazy world, and let's not say whether it's right or wrong, it's just the reality. So I think we have to be really courageous and probably undo a lot of the things we've spent the last 10 years building in terms of process. And that's very uncomfortable because we build processes to reduce risk, to be more compliant, to make it easy for us to manage. And actually we should be destroying all of that and saying, if a customer had to come in and design this process, what would it look like? And so we've got to be much more courageous in business to say that which I've spent my career building and putting in place might have just become irrelevant. and not many business leaders have the courage to go and do that. Of course, it comes with operational consequences, it comes with budget and capital investment consequences, but if we don't do that, I think the cost of not doing it and allowing ourselves to become old and antiquated in how we engage with tomorrow's market, I think guarantees our failure. So when I work with leadership teams, it's no good talking to them about anything 3 years out or even 5 years out. A, they think they've thought about it. B, it might not be that different because they would extrapolate in their minds with their level of executive confidence. They extrapolate what they know today, and it's in a fairly narrow band of future possibility. So what I do is I take them into a time zone which over many years now I've found to be the best, is somewhere between 7 and 10 years out. Because even the most talented, what I call talented self-believers, those sort of arrogant know-it-all types, will realize in the back of their mind that 7 years out is beginning to get quite far, and with the rate that things are changing, maybe I don't have all the answers. So you need to take them philosophically into a space where even the cynics will say, maybe I don't know. And then you're open. And then you can have a debate about lots of possibilities. And of course, in that time zone, it doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong. The important thing is, what's the conversation? And how do you allow people to have it? The other important thing is when you have a conversation amongst business leaders in a 3 to 5 year time frame, everyone in the room says, in the back of their minds, what's in it for me? Is my job at risk? What does that do to my bonus? Or my power? When you take a conversation 7 to 10 years out, it removes that. Everyone says, well, I may not be here, and I will have retired by then, or I will have moved on, or whatever. And so it takes that sort of political dimension out of the conversation. And I find in corporations, in businesses, that so often is the unwritten thing that holds the conversation back. So take it away. A few things. Firstly, understand the future better than you understand the present, and certainly the past. SWOT analysis, for example, is great to develop a tactical short-term advantage. Be better than my current competitors, fix my weaknesses, look at today's opportunities. But for heaven's sake, don't use a SWOT analysis when you're talking about future strategy. Think about the future more almost than you think about the present. Understand the context for doing business in the world of tomorrow. Who will our customers be? How will they be behaving? Why will they be behaving that way? What will they pay a premium for? What will be abundant in the world of tomorrow? Because no one pays you good money for abundance, but what will be scarce? And in a world that's fast and furious and overloaded with data, no one pays money for all of that stuff. But use the data intelligently, smartly, to deliver customized, bespoke solutions for me, ethically and authentically. Not just to get more share of my wallet, but in more of a symbiotic partnership relationship with your customers. I think these are the things that businesses really need to get their head around, is what drives and shapes the marketplace of the future. And then what would you choose to be in that? But then have the capability of undoing what you've already built because it is inappropriate for that world.